Greetings, GameCola faithful, and welcome back to Dragon Warrior 2. As always, I'm James.
I'm JD.
I'm Nathaniel.
And as sometimes, I'm Joseph Martin.
Man, I should have said I'm Jedio. We were just joking about that before the recording
But then no
began.
one would get it.
That's the point. And just like the O in Jedio, we are headed for the hole in the bottom of the sea.
That's right. Nice
So,
recap.
I thought you were...
Go north. Just straight north until you hit land, and then go northwest
All right.
until you hit the open ocean.
All right. Well, I've
thought
already
you were
hit
gonna
the
say-
open ocean.
So what we're gonna do this time is make
Then
up
west?
for a mistake. Yeah, northwest. Just follow the coastline northwest. We're gonna make up for a previous episode where we were totally right in front of something we could do and then failed to do it because I forgot how the doing worked. And then we'll go circle back to that cave that we opened up.
Excellent. Woo! I think we
But in the
surprised them.
meantime, we need to fight the mighty mice. They're not so mighty anymore.
No. Thunder! I guess we could Infernos. At this point, it almost feels like a waste of MP.
Yeah.
I mean, there are 5 of them.
Yep. Wizard's Wand, yes, but they're also only doing 2 damage. Oh, and also the Thunder Staff is going to absolutely wreck them for free!
Yeah.
Thank goodness my taxpayer dollars are going to the Staff of Thunder. my taxpayer MP.
All right,
Alright.
north.
North.
Stop. Go east just a little bit so the land is in sight. Okay, stop. Now go north until until we've scrolled the land just a little bit off screen.
Okay.
Now we've got a motley crew here.
Mm-hmm.
What's our ETA looking like? Do we have time for a topic of question?
Of course.
Sure, I'd like to question the topic.
So this is my topic that you can question. I was thinking about all of the video game movies that we've had in the past couple years that have been like good, like in a success kind of metric way, right? Like doing pretty well. And now I'm thinking, well, now all these people are.
For example, for people who are watching this, the time travelers who are watching this, we're talking like the second Sonic the Hedgehog movie, right?
Well, the third one just came out.
Right, the third one that I haven't watched yet, therefore doesn't exist.
Right. Well, I wasn't gonna spoil. Don't worry, I'm not gonna spoil.
Well, I mean,
because
it's
I
just
also
like
have
how
not seen
Tears
it
of the
yet.
Kingdom doesn't exist because Joe hasn't
Tears of the
finished it
Kingdom
yet.
still does not exist because I've never played it, and so it cannot be mentioned on the podcast or any other in any other situation. But I was thinking, like, okay, but like of the genres that have been portrayed in these popular recent video game movies, there aren't like RPGs are not a big one, and I was thinking, what
And now head
RPG
west.
series do you think would make a good movie?
Wow, we found the thing.
Yeah.
Let's actually search the spot this time.
Oh,
What?
GameCola dove overboard into the sea.
Like you do.
The treasure. Wait, that's not spelled right.
What?
The
Ugh.
treasures.
The Tresures.
The
Are you
treasures.
treasure about
They were
that?
left by the Spanish. I will say, this is like the second or third notable instance of, well, I mean, you know, it's got a lot more text than the first game. So, you know what? I will forgive them. They probably were still working off of like well, we're still kind of expanding. Well,
What?
great.
Dove all that. I was waiting for this. Yeah, let's just throw it back into the sea. There's not enough room on our boat for us to put any
Yeah, we
treasure
have a whole
because I
boat.
have a medical herb in my pocket.
Yep, wonderful.
He can't bring it back up with them.
All right, what are we getting rid of?
Antidote
Oh,
herb.
the medical herb.
Oh yeah, medical
which
herb.
one's
Actually,
cheaper?
antidote's probably more.
Antidote is less versatile.
Yeah, that's true.
Although,
I mean,
Oh,
we
well.
can get either of them back useless.
Although the HP increase doesn't do as much.
It is just treasure.
Anyways,
Oh,
What?
Illith could not open the treasure chest, for it was locked. Oh,
And
I bet
everybody
this
knows.
is the wreck of that ship that the one merchant was talking about in the town where we got our boat in the first place.
Yes,
He was saying,
indeedy.
if you bring me the treasures, you will be handsomely rewarded.
do you remember how to
Uh-huh.
get back there?
Well, no.
Due south,
Due south.
then due west.
Okay.
And do whatever you feel like.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll do that just fine.
Yeah. Didn't do
So,
it.
question: video game movies.
Yeah.
Yes. What RPG series do you think would make a good video game movie?
Having seen Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, I think it would be really fun to do the original Final Fantasy. Because we did a podcast. We did the Final Fantasy RPG cast. And
Yeah.
it was absolute nonsense, and it was a ton of fun. And you have so much leeway for that, that you could really just do whatever you wanted with that kind of a movie, and it would just be fun.
Wes?
But I do think the Final Fantasy... Keep going south. You're basically going to pass directly past Leonport. You'll see it to the west.
Okay.
But I do think any one of the Final Fantasy movies would probably lend itself well, because they're kind of, especially the middle and later ones, are very theatrical.
I do think they did turn one of the Final Fantasies into. Like,
They
yeah,
did
yeah,
have
yeah.
They did have Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within, but
There's
I'm
also
talking
the-
about one that's actually fully based on a game, like a Final Fantasy VII or a Final Fantasy whatever.
yeah.
Isn't there a Final Fantasy VII movie though? Advent Children?
Advent Children,
Yeah.
but it's not the game.
It's the
like
game,
take
right,
the
yeah.
game and turn it into a movie.
Right. Okay, yeah. Why is he standing in front of the chair looking at the chair?
Maybe he's sitting at a chair looking at a table. I don't know. Who's gonna read?
Always starts with you, James, even though
Okay.
it never does.
Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yep.
Obviously.
30% of the time, it starts with me every time. Thou hast done exceedingly well. As I promised, I shall give thee the Echoing Flute as thy reward. Why does my voice sound different than the last time you talked to me? I have a cold.
Briefly, Illith played the Echoing Flute. The man was annoyed.
Yeah.
Briefly, Philip played the Echoing Flute. The man was annoyed.
Briefly, Illith played the Echoing Flute. The man was annoyed.
Briefly.
Okay, I
Oh,
forget
that
what
was
we
a
do
very
with the flute,
the echo
but there's-
faded away very quickly there. Some serious
Yeah.
attenuation.
I forget what we do with the flute. That's the extent of my usefulness in this episode.
We use it at the top of the tower?
Or do we?
I do remember someone told
Oh.
us about the flute.
Right, the useless
previous
item,
episode.
because we have a walkthrough, gives an echo when played near a crest.
Oh,
Eh?
can
So
I
if you
throw it
have a
away?
hunch you're in a cresty area, you can play it.
Oh.
Oh,
Is
you know
that
what? I
how
also
we
did
were
get a
supposed to
copper
find...
sword.
Oh yeah, let's sell the sword.
So
Let us be free of that S word.
Yeah.
for the Final Fantasy movie, right? Because there's more archetypes than there are players in that. Would you include just all of them as the cast of characters, even though the party size is supposed to be 4?
If we're talking about the original one, I think I would have all 6 characters, but you'd like swap them out of your party for one reason or another at some point. I think that would also be good because, you know, you look at especially like the Final Fantasy VII Remake, where it's even more realistic than ever. You're running the risk of any game that has really articulate cutscenes. What?
What?
Well, yeah, I mean, let's hang on to it for now. But,
Also,
because we have
300
the walkthrough.
Yeah, 300 gold isn't even that much money.
It's not that much.
Also,
I
I
do
wonder if I
appreciate
were to
that you
sell
can
it,
get
could I
rid
go
of it,
back
though.
to that sunken ship, dig up more treasures, and then get
Treasures?
another one? All right. I'm trying
But
to
yeah, let's
think
get
of-
back in the boat.
I thought
And
that we needed the echoing flute for something specific, but I guess
Just check. Okay, I have the
Wow,
water
that's a
crest, the
good
moon
echo
crest,
for that
and the
flute.
and the sun crest.
There's a crest by Jetty.
Yeah.
I will need to remember that you said that because usually I try to like filter those out when I submit my recording. So you'll
The
just be
trains are my
saying that.
favorite part of recording with Alexander Jedraszczak. What are you talking about?
Who's Alexander?
Well, it's either that or he rides away on his motorcycle. On board a train.
Yeah.
He's actually in like a James Bond movie. He's running away. He's riding a motorcycle on top of a train.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a choice now. There's 2 places we can go. Each of them has a crest at the end.
Okay.
We've got the lighthouse, and we've got the cave that we just opened the path to in the water. The lighthouse is closer to our current location.
I also think that we had an easier time with the monsters in the lighthouse, that it's been longer.
I think you're
Since we-
correct. Let's go to the
Yeah.
lighthouse.
Yeah, so go south and follow the coast east as you reach the coast.
Okay.
Jetty,
That
did
is
you have...
the southern coast, that is.
Yes. Let's repel.
Did I have an RPG?
So I should follow it to the east.
No. Go south until you hit a wall, and then from the wall, keep following the coast east.
Okay. Gotcha.
I don't know. I do feel like it's better to have an older game, right? There's more flexibility there.
Yeah, what I was getting at was any more modern games where you have very well articulated, well rendered characters, actual voice acting, like you're going to have a stronger picture in people's heads of this is how this character should look, should sound, should dress. You're going to have more haters. You're going to have more people who are complaining, oh, you didn't get it right. So if you do an older game, or if you do a game where things aren't so established like that. Like I've seen a preview for the Minecraft movie with Jack Black that's coming out. And having not played Minecraft, I can't speak to that, but I'm pretty sure Jack Black is, it could have been anyone really, because I feel like maybe they're going off script with that, but someone who's actually played Minecraft and seen the trailer would need to speak to that. But I feel like that's the kind of thing that you can have some fun with. And, people might complain about it for different reasons, but the reason wouldn't be, well, Jack Black doesn't look voxelated enough to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you hit the nail right on the head there. Like, Minecraft also does not have, like, any sort of backstory to, like, be tied to, that where you're going to have to make a decision there. I will say, though, that there are not movies that I can think of, but TV shows. Like, the Last of Us TV show is pretty much a live action The Last of Us in a lot of ways. I think there is more, like, content added, but there's plenty of cutscene stuff where it's, like, I don't think it's, like, a shot-for-shot remake, but it's, like, it's basically the same thing, adapted as minimally as you need to adapt it to make it work as a live action show, basically. And it's apparently pretty popular among fans. So I do think that part of that is probably that it is harder to do that, but I don't think it is necessarily, like, bad. I think it's just, like, you have to have the right people up for the challenge.
I accidentally played the Echoing Flute in Battle of Bob, but we shall not see what it does. Probably nothing.
There was a crest behind the mummy. But you slew the mummy, it fell on the crest, and it broke.
Dang. That's okay. That was the glass crest.
And
Vital.
I do agree that the whole dungeon experience here, just the vibes are completely off.
Yeah.
I feel like they did a better job in
Whoa.
this is that a demi-ghost. So wait. Are they
Mostly dead, slightly.
living? Yeah,
That
like
means
they're
they're still
like
a little bit
living
alive.
ghosts? Yeah. What would that mean? Like,
Wouldn't that just be the
That
same
means
as
they're only
zombie?
attracted to you after they get to know you.
but only after they get to know you after you died.
Yeah. Sorry, no, I'm just
Like
trying to think.
they
like,
find your old SD card and look at all your old photos
yeah.
and learn who you were. Right, Jetty?
Yes, no, sorry, I'm just still trying to think of like a way in which like, is it just a guy who hangs out at a place that like, somebody who's
Healing top off?
Yeah.
I just hang out here all the time. You could call it my haunt.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually,
No,
Sorry,
well,
yeah.
guys, there's an obvious answer. I can't believe it. Danny Phantom.
Is your RPG that you would make into a movie?
No, it's a
How?
demi-ghost.
There was a way to climb up here somewhere. I've somehow missed the.
My Nicktoons cohort will get my joke, Jetty. You don't have to pretend for me.
Have you tried to press into like every? It's also possible that it's just not in this section that we're supposed to go all the way
I
around.
was not super thorough, but I did at least attempt to press into that area in what seemed like the obvious
times.
places. and
So I'll save you some trouble. I'm looking at a mop and a map as well. If you go counterclockwise all the way around the edge of the tower,
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
you will reach the centaur, or the center.
Boss spoiler.
It's like a map.
Now I'm just thinking back to the original Megami Tensei, where you fight. Well, it's not a centaur; it's the Minotaur at the bottom of the Tower of Daedalus. Also, ouch! Orfeo is in pain. When did that happen?
He's fine.
Right in my Shin Megami Tensei.
I wonder how Shin Megami Tensei. Well, it would have to be Shin Megami Tensei because those
Why
games
don't we
are much
back
more
up and make that a heal
story-driven.
more?
Okay. Probably a worthy idea.
My favorite game in the series is Ankle Megami Tensei.
Ni Megami Tensei.
Ankle Mega Man Tensei.
See,
Shin Megami Tensei Ni.
I also sometimes
Yes.
hear people
down,
incorrectly, like they
and now
say the
right.
name quickly, and it sounds like they're saying Shinigami Tensei,
Yeah.
which is
Or it could sound
Entirely
like a curse, like Shin Megami Tensei.
But I feel like that could make an interesting RPG movie because they're like the more recent games are already very, they focus on interesting plots, even if they're not super story heavy necessarily. They have lots of character interactions and personality arcs and stuff like that. I'm trying to debate.
Zap
here.
him with lightning.
Yep.
So, Dragon Quest V almost made an awesome movie. There was one, or is one, possibly still on Netflix, Your Story, which I was loving because it was such a beautiful love letter to the game and really captured the feel of it, the look of it, like everything about it was really, really good. And then they had a really atrocious plot twist that just wrecked the entire thing.
Aww.
Yeah. I saw that when it came out. I felt basically the same way.
And it wouldn't have been so bad, but they didn't give enough clues or telegraph anything. Like the one clue in the entire movie that there was going to be that particular twist could have been written off as just stylistic flair because it's a video game movie.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with adaptations is that you're always wondering like how much to change, and it's not, and really what to change also, because like there are definitely adaptations that do a good job where you change things. I think one of the key things is the more times something has been adapted or remade or remastered, the more flexibility you have in changing things, because you can be like, all right, look, you've had it this way like 3 times now. Let's just try something a little different this time. I don't
And for
feel
me-
like there are a lot of games like that, but there are a lot of TV shows like that for sure.
For me, the question is always, why does this exist? Why are you doing this? What does this bring to the world? Because just, it would be really cool to see this game turned into a movie. Like, well, yeah, but what are we getting out of it? Like, you already have a cutscene-heavy, beautifully animated, huge AAA budget game that the cutscenes alone are a movie. Like, we don't need Metal Gear Solid 3 or whatever the cutscene game was turned into a movie because it's already a movie. But I look at, like the Dragon Quest example. That is a totally different experience than you would get from the game, seeing those battles play out. You might have a little bit of animation in some of the later games, but you don't have that full, beautiful 3D. We're in a 3D space. We're seeing what these spells look like in action for real. The scale of the monsters relative to the heroes. Like, there's a lot of things that you just don't get from the games that makes it worth adapting into a different medium. And I love the thought of, really transforming this into, wow, this is a cool world that I have never experienced in this way. And I think there's also a question of, do you do it live action? Do you do it animated? And if you do it animated, do you do it traditional 2D? Do you do 3D CG? How do you do it? So I think there's so many different ways that you can bring interesting things to the table. So I do think you would need to pick a game or games that aren't already cutscene heavy, that would really benefit from being transformed.
I think another good opportunity there is like a game.
That's suspicious.
The big reveal. Stairs. I think another angle on that is like a game that is fun, but it has a lot of lore that is not really easily represented in the video game itself. Like a lot of supplemental material that doesn't really make it into the game, but then you could coalesce all of that into a movie or a TV show. And then you're reintroducing all of this information to people who have maybe just played the games and didn't know there was all this lore, and you get that satisfying deep cut feeling of the hardcore fans who are like, I know that thing, they said the thing that I know about.
So ignore this staircase.
Okay.
Oh man, but they had such a dramatic reveal and everything.
It's a fake
I'm actually gonna use.
And then you accidentally click outside.
Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna use Heal More from Ilith because Ilith really hasn't been using as much MP.
I feel like the resource management in this is also just a lot squishier than it felt in Dragon Warrior 1. Ooh.
Yeah.
Like, it was just such a clean loop in Dragon Warrior 1. I mean, I don't remember. Did I ask in the last episodes, where this game kind of ranks? Maybe not necessarily, if you would like to say your own opinion too, but I was also sort of curious in just the general consensus of Dragon Warrior games, Dragon Quest games. Where does this sit?
Going into this, I would have told you the absolute bottom. Now, granted, I have finished 1 through 5. 5 being the DS remake, the rest being the original NES versions. And I am currently playing through 6. I would say I'm 2/3 of the way through the game. Going into this, I would have told you absolute bottom of the list, also one of the least good RPGs I've ever played. Seeing this replayed and experiencing this with a walkthrough at my side versus a walkthrough at my side for Dragon Quest VI when I got bored with it, it might not be absolute bottom anymore. 6 might actually take that spot for me. I'll need to see how the game ends. But I don't have very high opinions of this.
Dramatic twist that you don't like?
No, just this game in particular. I've already talked about all this stuff, but to keep it short, a lot of the enemy designs are just regular, everyday, normal Earth creatures. which is just boring for me. I want something else in a fantasy game. I also don't like how aimless a lot of this game feels, that I don't feel like, oh yes, I am on this adventure because of XYZ. I am working toward this goal. It's, well, I'm going here because I can. I'm doing this because I guess I have to. And the character balance has been completely off. You know, Orf dying constantly. Illy seems to be a little hardier in this game than she was in my playthrough. Ignore this staircase as well.
Okay.
But the characters just don't make a good party.
Sorry.
So those are my chief complaints with this. Also, the overworld is really, really, really big and so empty in so many spots. So if you're not playing with the map, it's not great.
I will say, I feel like one key point, speaking about the characters not making a good party, they don't synergize well. Like, our abilities don't play into each other's at all. It's just there's some overlap in weird places with the healing. Like, we don't have a dedicated healer. It was sort of Orfeo at first because he was the only one who had healing abilities. And then, speaking of which, and then we had Illith, and she only had heal more, which was kind of overpowered, but now that we have that one. You like that one. Now that we have the wands to cast spells without using magic most of the time.
I don't think I would risk it.
The sort of the dynamic has changed, and I guess I would also say that my current opinion of the game is that originally it was actually a little bit higher than Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior 1, where I think I said Dragon Warrior, I've forgotten already. I think I rated Dragon Warrior a 5 out of 10, just average. I think I might have rated it a 6, but whatever. I started out rating this game 1 higher than that. But now, and it's sort of fluctuated up and down between being about the same as the first game and a little bit better than the first game. Right now, I would say, that was a waste. But it was just wanted to make sure I got them. I like the additional stuff we can do in combat in some cases. The much better writing, I feel like. I feel like the dialogue is super charming. There are genuinely fun moments of writing in this game. Yeah, and that's like what really is. That's what has been bringing it up for me for the most part. But I feel like it's definitely a step backwards. You know, again, like you said, in terms of enemy design, which I'm a lot more forgiving on that front, but I do recognize that it is a shortcoming compared to the first game. I feel like the enemy designs are less iconic, although maybe if this was my first game, these would be, I would be more interested in the designs. I can't really say. But I do feel like there's definitely less interesting things going on here. Wow, these guys are wrecking my stuff because they have fire breath, which hits all of me, and all of my party members.
Is 5 sort of like the standard, or maybe like the classic standard? Would you say? I feel like that one comes up a lot when I see or hear people talk about the series, and also like which games influenced the genre most strongly. For as much as I enjoy what I've played mostly of the Dragon Quest series, as much as I've enjoyed the games that I've enjoyed in the Dragon Quest series, let's put it that way, I haven't found a lot of people to talk with about this series. So I don't, and I haven't really hung out in any fan spaces or anything for this, so I really couldn't tell you. Because I've usually been the only person or one of very few people who I know who actually plays these games.
I'm assuming I skipped this.
No, actually, we like this one.
Okay.
I've definitely seen in like Japanese,
or at least of people who talk about it,
game culture, that 5 is the big one, which is interesting to me because like for me 4 is the big one, but being that I had never played
Go West
5 originally, as it was never released originally. 4 was kind of the best that we got until we got 8. So.
But did they at least name them conventionally so people knew what was going on?
Yeah, just whack them or zap them.
Yep. I'm gonna have
was
her
8,
Harry just because she's
5?
squishy.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 was 8 and not 5.
Oh,
Sorry,
good
also,
thing.
5 to 10 minutes ago, you called Orf, and I know that we've called Orf before, but for some reason, I suddenly had the thought of Mr. Orf Fireball.
I'm missing what that's a reference to. Care to enlighten me?
I figured Nathaniel would get it.
Yes. If you called him Lieutenant Orf, you might have
Oh,
better luck.
yes.
Oh, is it? I thought he said Mr. in that quote.
No, that's true. He does say Mr. Worf. Yeah.
Yes. Well, if you're going for a very specific reference, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Lieutenant Orf Fireball.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that.
Sorry. I don't know why that time of all the times that we've called Orf that I...
Well, see, anytime you say Orf, I just think dog barking.
Yeah, or a seal, right?
Yep. Yeah, Orf.
How much water there is in the game, I feel like a seal is more appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. We found a lot of dogs in this game so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how much Gen 2 influenced the Hoenn region with how much water there is. It is like just watching it here, it just feels kind of ridiculous. That is a big door.
It is a big door.
We've seen it before.
Now, I haven't.
A big key.
Am I not allowed to experience the world in new ways? Jetty? I'm not allowed to be impressed by the large door and the diagonal skeletons who can't fit in the screen. The roof's too low. Put your swords down. They can probably stand upright.
Down. Exactly.
Yeah.
If we defeat them, can we take their galoshes?
Yeah. Well, see, what I feel like carrying that around would be a bit of a nuisance.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. I do want to see this should work very well, this Staff of Thunder, because they are perfect lightning rods. If it does not, I will be very sad.
Conduct electricity.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean they may not conduct, but I don't know. Listen, they're perfect lightning rods. Don't question it. I might actually have Illy. I might have Illith parry again, just because I don't know how much damage these guys are gonna do, and I don't want her biting the dust.
Sure.
It's not a part of a well-balanced diet.
Nope.
What food group is that?
Dust? I could be a grain, but I think that's dependent.
No, I want to say it's mineral, because it's probably
but that's not
like
a food. That's not on the food pyramid, James.
Yeah, that's
maybe
true.
not your food pyramid.
You know, I'm Google. They tell you to eat at least one small rock per day.
Oh yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yep. Listen, AI gives me all of my health advice.
It is so terrifying how many people I see who will Google something while I'm standing there, and then they'll look at, I see them like answer a question that we were talking about, and they'll have only looked at the AI response, and I'm like, what are you doing? Do you not know about the one small rock a day?
Yep. Oh,
at least
boy.
click the little hyperlink thing that tells you where Google got it from and see if like that information was actually in there. Because like most of the time, I don't know about most, I haven't done it often enough, but like there have been plenty of times where it'll be like, how much did this cost? And be like, oh, this was $100 million. And then I look at all of the links that it referenced and that number did not appear.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, yeah, they'll never say I don't know.
Or that works too.
Yeah, this is what we need. We need. This is a challenge we can do. Is can you beat the next Dragon Warrior game using a walkthrough generated entirely by AI?
The answer is no.
How do you get? Where do you get stuck?
Almost immediately.
Yeah, can you get an AI to tell you how to beat a video game? I did try to get it to beat a like the Homestar Runner, Thy Dungeon Man games. It got stuck pretty quickly.
Well, yeah, because you have to tell it that the exit is Dennis, and then it has no idea how to interpret that.
I did get it to go Dennis at some point.
Whose voice is it now?
Whoa.
Well, for who? They're gone.
Oh, you went over there. I think it's James.
5?
No, James has already done a voice.
Well, no, but okay, but the order is like James, Nathaniel.
James, Jetty, me, special guest.
Okay, so I go next.
So the question is, do the flute echoes count? I don't think they do. I think it's Jetty's turn.
Yeah.
Oh boy, this could be a problem. Please, someone. Oh dear.
What?
Question. What kind of equipment have we not bought yet? Were we saving up for anything?
Wow.
We were looking for I was really hoping to buy the asbestos greaves. It protects against the scorching flames. Oh my goodness.
Yikes.
That was really painful.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, as good stus, as better stus, as bestus.
Do keep some MP on hand for outside in case you're not standing close enough to the edge of the building.
Okay.
Dragon as.
Oh, can you just exit on any floor?
You can fall off.
Oh, I see.
I don't believe you because you are clearly. So should I?
You didn't let Jetty say his lines.
Oh, sorry.
Esquestus? What? Oh.
No, he said.
Yeah.
He said something about he knows what's on my mind. He'll guide me to the place where the crest is. Should I follow him or not?
Yes, absolutely. Follow this man who was clearly a demon 5 seconds before you saw him in this side. Take the lower one. Yes, actually do follow him.
Okay.
What happens if you don't follow him? You just get lost?
Yep. Either that or you live. I can't remember which one.
I wish the old man would help you fight these monsters.
Yeah, seriously.
Excuse me.
Man, he's doing 10 damage to them.
Have we fought other color orcs?
Yeah.
Before?
Yeah, just regular.
Yeah.
Ooh, level up.
Ooh.
And we were making fun of the way that they had their hands, and we were like, obviously they're going to hold something
Clutch a
later.
spear at some point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, they saved his place.
We're okay enough.
So we've gone all this trouble to climb
Plus, even
up
if we
the
shouldn't
lighthouse.
follow him, the fact that we're getting a unique animation of a dude walking through the tower and waiting for us at the stairs means we should, as players, at least investigate and see where this goes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna recommend anytime we fight Gorgons, always use the. Anytime we have 2 of the same enemy or more, always use the staff just in case somebody gets put to sleep or critted on and dies or something.
The problem is that they are very resistant to magic, so like most of the time it doesn't work.
Yes. Okay. I missed that detail.
Yeah, so that's why I've just been mainly having them physically attack. They have very high defense. And they try to surround, which means that we have a high chance of missing.
So I like to think of it as they don't actually have a high defense. They're floating, and they've got lots of tentacles and snakes getting in the way and disrupting your attacks. And so they're just annoying to hit. They're not actually defending it very well.
Yeah.
I did always like that about D&D, the explanation that, like, armor class isn't explicitly that, like...
Yeah, you've got natural armor, you've got your dexterity bonus for being able to dodge, you've got whatever actual armor you're wearing any magic enhancements.
Yeah, that, like, generally, it's not explicitly that, like, oh, they don't take damage, but, like, maybe they didn't get hit, or, like, maybe, it glanced off or something, just that, like, in one way or another.
Brother. Hang on.
Yeah, that's smart.
I'm just gonna run if I can. Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow, the battle interrupted the dialogue. Open now the treasure chest. Okay.
Man, you really don't want to let Jetty have his line.
Oh my goodness. Oh, sorry.
James is like, I'm playing video games here. Stop trying to interrupt my focus.
And I'm trying to pretend like I care about Jetty's line when really I just want the line to advance so that I can do it.
Oh.
I mean, why else did you guys have me on here?
That's true.
If not to
Your
do
good
funny
looks,
voices.
obviously.
Yeah.
That is true. Ever since I got my glasses, my looks have been so good. I can read Undead, 1. Gorgon, 1.
Yeah.
I'm so good at looking, you guys. So is this the boss fight, or did we just get another
We
weird
just got
kind of
another.
I feel like there should be individual tiles where it's like, okay, but you don't get a fight here.
Yeah. All right, now I gotta heal up.
Yeah. Just in case.
Outside.
So
Yeah, no, heal more makes sense.
Well, for
So-
Orfeo,
You're not
not
getting
really.
quite
He's.
here's a question though: is
Oh yeah, okay,
does
all right.
heal do, and how much does heal more?
And do we also have any herbs kicking around
I
that we
have
can
one herb, I'm pretty sure, on Illith. Let me check
the
GameCola.
one that we got
GameCola's
rid
got a
of?
medical herb.
use? Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Search.
Oh, I was thinking use the herb to top off Illy if she's not at full health already.
Okay, yeah, that's actually a good point.
That's often what I'll use really weak healing items for if that's the only option.
All right.
Jetty, quick before he advances it.
I didn't press anything. I didn't press anything. That auto advanced.
I like that the gremlins are like weaker than the things that we had just been fighting. Like,
I also like that gremlins are becoming the go-to surprise. You're fighting a narrative battle now, enemy.
yeah.
Actually, you know what? I've got some magic. Infernos.
I've got MP now.
Oh, ouch.
Got MP now.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh,
Yeah, I
oh,
was gonna
God.
say this is not particularly scary.
Yeah, we had more trouble with those lizard flies or whatever.
Yeah. Dragonflies.
honestly.
They're not nearly that creative, Jetty.
Hmm. Well, we fought lizard flies before. They were green, I think.
Hmm. What a wonderful
Because
trap.
lizards are green. Yeah. The
Yay.
star's crest. So
Not the star crest. The star's
Yeah.
crest.
Well, now we need to go on a quest to give it back to the star.
Mm-hmm.
A crest quest.
Oh, and the guy's
All
just
right.
gone.
Can I
that
just
already?
leave the lighthouse now?
Yep, just, I mean, I think you can go upstairs if you really want to, but, no, actually, don't do that. Just
Wait,
jump
give
off.
it an ahoo-hoo-hoy.
There is technically another NPC at the very, very top of the tower, but I don't believe he's relevant for anything.
All right. Well, sucks to be him, I guess.
All right, you're closest to Hamlin if you want to go back and heal somewhere.
Yeah. Where to?
Just go
probably a good
east.
idea.
Go to the other side, your other east. Yep. To the other side of this island. Just keep following the coast east.
Thought you said weast.
True or false? True.
Dragon Quest.
Mm-hmm.
I always enjoyed that the tornado you're up east. Anytime I say keep going east, the shortest distance to keep going east. I always enjoyed that the tornadoes in Mario were tweester.
Tweezers. Oh, that's right.
I don't know, I used up all of my RPG discussion topics.
See, all of your RPG discussion topic.
Yes. Well, I used other ones in earlier episodes.
Man, so okay, but we haven't talked about the important topic of if you have an RPG movie, who's going to star in it, right? Like who's going to be fighter? Who's going
Chris
to be
Pratt.
Black Mage?
Chris
Also
Pratt's
Chris
gonna be
Pratt.
the fighter. Jack Black should be the monk.
Do we want to just limit it to people who have starred in video game movies?
Oh.
Just to
Bob
level the playing
Hoskins,
field.
Bob
Uh,
Hoskins.
John Leguizamo.
John
For that matter,
Leguizamo.
this cast and crew so directed by Uwe Boll, right?
Oh no.
Ugh.
All right. So where to now?
East.
East.
Wanderers
Which-
from East.
Wanderers
Which-
from East.
Jetty, you weren't in the Final Fantasy RPG cast, were you? No.
No.
Oh
No.
my gosh.
So which archetype do you think you would have done a good job portraying?
Oh man. It's a good question because I have an affinity for about half of them, right? Like half of them are my favorite class. Man, it's a struggle between maybe if I had to narrow it down either thief or white mage.
Well, I call dibs on White Mage because that's the one that I always was. When
I
I
would-
was naming characters, I always named myself.
I
For the
really
one
like the
the white
fighters,
mage,
like
yeah.
the monk style characters.
I do think that's a lot of fun, but I think personally, I would go for the thief if I were to then. Like, if
Okay,
you could only
interruption.
get one.
We've got
Yes.
almost 4,000 gold.
Oh,
Were we saving up for any more equipment? I know we talked about this, or at least I tried to talk about this earlier.
I don't
I
think,
think
we
we're
were
waiting for stuff that's like 20,000.
Yeah.
Okay,
stuff
so
that's super
exorbitant.
expensive.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, so on to our next destination. Although, should we manually save here and call it an episode?
I think that is a
Yeah.
great idea.
Oh yeah, this guy who's up here for whatever reason.
Yep. Yeah,
Even
because
here thou can record thy deeds in the Imperial Scrolls of Honor.
Don't worry, Joe. I've read that one myself.
Of experience points, GameCola needs 1858 to reach the next level. You don't say it as a full number because they didn't put a comma there.
Depending on your
Of
style guide, you don't need it.
experience points, Orfeo needs 282. That wouldn't have a comma anyway, so that one gets the full word. To reach the next level.
we'll see.
You only say and if you're using
If you
a
read it
decimal.
as 1858, wouldn't that mean that there's commas between every digit?
No. What are you talking about?
I don't know. If you say GameCola needs 1858, that sounds to me like you're putting commas between every
No,
digit.
I'm telling him he needs one collection of 858.
Quick, James, advance the text before Joe can talk again.
Of experience points, Illith needs 6956 to reach the next level. Dost thou wish to save thy deeds in the Imperial Scrolls of Honor? I have entered thy deeds in the Imperial Scrolls of Honor.
I was kind of hoping we would say yes and he would just say groovy.
Dost thou wish to continue thy groovy quest?
This is dragon. This takes place in the 70s. Which 70s we don't know. It might be
No,
the
it takes
1270s.
place in the 80s, but I'm an old man, so I was around for the 70s.
Goodness
I'm
gracious.
hip with the youngsters.
It will happen to you.
It will happen to you.
All right, everyone.
on
We
that
will
note-
see you in the next one.